up, everybody? Thank you for joining us today again on Breaking Bread, the podcast. We have a special guest today, and we're in a secret location today just to bring a little bit of a new vibe to you guys. Special thanks to my co-host, Chef Jay-Z. I appreciate you again. Thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
We have a special guest today, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Omar.
Omar.
This guy means a lot to me. We have a good story for you guys on how we met and how his life is such significance to mine. Today, Chef Omar, what do we got on the menu?
Today we have a very special dish to me.
That's right.
We have Chile Verde, also known as Carne and Chile Verde. It's a very special dish because with this dish, it brings back a lot of memories.
Nice.
It's a steak and salsa verde. It's very
Spicy?
yeah, spicy,
It looks
tangy,
spicy, it
savory.
smells spicy already.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So you said this dish has a special significance to you because it brings back a lot of memories.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about the beginning of those memories. Like, what was the earliest?
Before we do that, Omar, I mean, I've heard stories where you were at, where you're going,
Sure.
where you're at. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
That's
A
right.
little bit about myself.
Let them know, Omar.
I'm a chef, upcoming chef, aspiring chef.
Okay.
27 years old. Haven't always been a chef. Grew up, it's a little rough life, ups and downs. Always,
Could
can't say it was perfect.
Can
Can't
you
say it
tell
was.
us a little bit more about that more deep?
Well, at the age of, let's see, everything was good until, probably the age of 7. At the age of 7, it was a life-changing event, I lost my father. He can tell you a lot more about that, he's personal experience from that. At that age, I could say life turned around because it became a blur to me, to be honest. I can't remember. I can remember possibly only the good times when I was, either with my family or in the kitchen.
Okay.
And that's about how life started for me. It wasn't until about 12 years old when, like my grandpa, he was always in the kitchen. He lived in a house of maybe probably 16 grandkids from my grandpa. So he was always cooking,
So let me ask you this: was Abuelito the main cook of the family?
Abuelito and Abuelita were the main cooks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So going back a little bit, Omar, you say your father passed away. So was Grandpa and Grandma now what you viewed as your new parents?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, because they helped my mom a lot. My mom she's always trying to find work. We're always working.
Yeah.
Fucking trying to do the best to support us. And
Hustling.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think a lot of us can familiarize with that as far as the hustle aspect of our parents because times were hard, and the passing of Omar, your dad, which was a brother to me, I could just imagine how that shift went, because I know Omar was the worker of the family. Everybody was kind of depending on him and his hard work ethic, right? So I want to pay a little homage to Pops, you know what I mean? For those of you guys that don't know, or you guys are wondering, where the Omar comes into, to me, he's baby Omar, right? I mean, you're big now, but to me, baby Omar was running around when me and my brother Omar were running around as well, and he was very little. And you know what? The choices that me and Omar Senior kind of lived by, and the things that we were up to, it was very high risk. We were into the gang life. We were running the streets, and at the time, like, we were two of the baddest, and unfortunately, we got into a situation, and when all the smoke settled, literally, his father didn't make it. So,
That was tough.
yeah, it was real tough. That was actually the change in my life. Not only, his, but the change in my life because that was my best friend. That was my best friend. Yeah. That was the person that I trusted the most in the world. Right. And when he passed away, I found myself in the kitchen a lot because I didn't really want to do anything after that. You know, like life kind of crumbled, right? And I feel the connection to you because I feel like you kind of had the same outlet as me, and that's being in the kitchen and dealing with the sadness and the trauma of losing your pops. You know what I mean? I still use the kitchen to deal with that today. And your pops has been passed away for 20 years now.
20 years.
20
How old
20 years.
how old were you when your pop
7
passed
years
away?
old.
7 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Baby Omar was 7 years old.
And I know that at 7 years old, you know, you're still young and all, but that has to be tough.
Yeah.
But how did that affect your life? You know, either in a positive or a negative. I mean, it must be rough.
It was tough. It was really tough. You know, cause I was the one that would always call my dad. You know, I was be the one. Hey, come pick us up. You know, like, oh, come do this. You know,
For sure.
I do it behind my mom's back. You know, and my mom would be like, what? Like, so I was really close to my dad. You know, I was at the age where I was barely starting to remember him, and everything was, you know, everything was cool. You know.
Yeah.
So it was really close, and when that happened, it impacted me in a negative way because it was a blur from there. From when he passed away, I could say life was just downhill. Like, I don't care. I wasn't listening to my mom. My mom, it was like, yo, I don't care. Like, I don't want to listen to you. Like, and it was bad. You know. Now that I look back at it, it's like, if you would listen to your mom, life would have been different.
Sure.
It's like, you know, but we live and we learn from that. But
Yeah, you know, that's funny that you say. I mean, it's not funny, but when you say how life took a turn when that happened, I always felt that connection between me and you. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I was around and before me and your dad would hit the streets, guess who was behind your dad? It was you, right? Because you were always trying to see what we were gonna get into, you know. So to have you here on today's show, it's a little bit surreal because not only did I never think that I would have a podcast to have you on, but it's just crazy how 20 years ago passed so fast.
Yeah.
Right? So, and now, like, I have, not only do you look like your dad, you have your dad's name, and now you're sharing a story on my show. You know, and I hope that your dad is up in heaven proud of you because which I know he is. You know, he was proud of you when you were a baby, and I remember that the feeling of picking you up at your mom's, and you know, so I think he's definitely proud of you and where you've come and how far you've come because I'm proud of you as well. You know, and I can't stress enough how thankful and how blessed I feel of you being on the show to show us a little bit of what you do.
Same here. Nah, same here. I feel super thankful.
So what? Should we get into the dish and then continue
I
to
don't know.
talk?
I'm about to taste
Let's do it. Let's do it. What are we doing first?
We're gonna sear up this carne real quick.
And
get it
let me ask you
cooking,
this. So
and then we get the
What kind of
sauce.
beef? What kind of beef you got there?
This was espadilla.
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 Okay.
In Spanish.
So
bit of salt
let's
right
get
here.
into a little bit. This is where Chef Jay-Z comes into effect because I want to know the correct technique, right?
Correct technique for what?
For the carne. So let me tell you what I do. When I'm at home and I'm making a carne con chile, I dry rub the carne first before I put it in the skillet. Is that the right thing to do, or what do you?
There really is no right thing to do. Because,
right.
because I mean, everybody's different. Everybody has their own recipe.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier this recipe came from your grandpa, and we're gonna get more into that. But I mean, you could sear it, add seasoning. You could marinate it overnight. I mean, people are different.
Okay.
If you have a really good cut of meat, you really don't want to mess with it too much.
yeah.
A little kosher salt, a little fresh cracked pepper, and then whatever other ingredients Omar has here. So I'm gonna let him do his thing, and then maybe he could teach us a little something.
All right, all
You
right.
know?
So being on a professional note, Chef Jay-Z, would you say that these ingredients look familiar for a spread of carne con
absolutely.
carne verde or carne con chile verde?
Absolutely, absolutely.
What's something that you would add just by viewing? And now we're not putting no judgment, but what's something you would add to this spread?
I would probably add.
Being a executive chef
I
level
would probably add to go with it some beans.
For sure. All right, now we're getting
right.
somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to create Carne con Chile Verde. All right. Here we are, Breaking Bread, the podcast. This is my favorite part of the show because this is where we really get into the nitty gritty, right? We evaluate the flavors. We get Big Jay-Z's input on as far as like, does this make it or does this break it, right? Omar, man, once again, thank you for coming out and spending your day with us and showing us how to create this amazing entree. But before we eat it, I want to know a secret because this is something that I have trouble with in life, is making the salsa. Every time I make salsa, it don't matter if it's red, green, yellow, purple, whatever the color the salsa is, it comes out bitter. And I just don't get that flavor that I do when I go to, a bomb Mexican restaurant and they have that salsa, because the salsa is what makes it. So can you let us know a little bit, as my mouth's watering, can you let us know a little bit as far as the steps you took to make the salsa? Like what are we eating right here?
It's Chile Verde, Carne and Chile Verde right here. The salsa consists of tomatillo. It has serranos. It's spicy, tangy.
And for those that might have missed how beautiful the tomatillos looked, what's your go-to, boiling them, char boiling, or what's your go-to to make a good
My
salsa?
go-to is roasting them.
Okay.
The best way to roast them, make sure you get a nice little char on them, not too charred, because that's.
I mean, enough of that. Could we get in? Because I don't know if it's.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm trying to taste this.
I'm trying to act
and
right.
Then, and then we can ask the questions.
All right, so let's try it. So, thank you, Omar, for this lovely entree. But it's time to grade you, my boy. I'm gonna just keep it authentic and just scoop it like, Let me see.
Definitely not bitter. Definitely not bitter. I think the flavors of the meat with the flavors of the potato, then the chilies, the tomatoes, and then I mean, for me, it's the cotija that gave it that nice little,
The
final little salty.
mark at the end of the sentence?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really good, really good, really good dish. So, again, I mean, I know you didn't become a chef overnight, Omar. Takes years. I mean, not just that, but the passion for the industry. But you said earlier, your grandpa, let me go back a little bit. You say your dad had a big impact in your life. You losing him at a young age. I want to hear more about when you lost your dad. And I mean, we talked earlier how, you chose the streets and you were not going that right path, maybe that you should have been going.
You kind of just gave up.
Yeah, right? But I mean, for the people listening and for other, boys or girls out there that, are probably going through this or have been through this, could you tell us a little bit about that and how, you got inspired to just go away from that?
Yeah, after losing my pops, well, it was pretty hectic, you could say. Life-changing experience, that's for sure. After we lost him, it was like more of I don't care about nothing. I don't care. There's nobody here to tell me nothing, and I'm gonna do what I want.
So were you the only?
No, I had two older brothers. I'm the middle child. Yeah. From the same father. Yeah, two older brothers and one younger sister, and one younger brother actually. So it's three brothers, one sister. Yeah, after he passed away, I could say it was tough. I could say no guidance. I had my grandpa, yeah, but he was more about, worried about himself and about, you know, my mom was taking care of 4 boys, so it was tough on her as a single mother.
Was there any times that you provided, like growing up with only your mom hustling and your brothers and sisters at the pad? Was there any times where you made dinner for them, like when it was
Oh
just you
shit.
guys? Or
Yeah, it was, well, my older brothers, they would be on their own. It was always them two, you know, and then me and my younger brother we were close ones. So growing up, that's how it would be. When my mom would take off, I would be the one cooking for my little brother, you know,
Okay.
cooking breakfast.
So you were
either
the one that held
yeah, I would
it
hold it
down.
down for us, you know.
Okay.
And then, yeah, it all started with simple basic eggs, and then started working my way up with chilaquiles and stuff like that. And then figure out how to make pancakes and put stuff together. It was all for my little brother and stuff like that.
It definitely shows that you're trying your best, just from the flavors and from how it looks, because presentation in life is everything, right?
Absolutely.
You gotta present yourself um to the utmost, right? And that flows through your fingertips to what you create in the kitchen,
Yeah.
right? Because if you don't really have the drive, and if you don't like have the want for a good plate, it's not gonna come out right, and this is definitely a very delicious plate, authentic.
Yeah, very, very, very well executed. I know earlier you said that this dish is inspired by your grandpa. Okay, so um, could you tell us a little bit about that and what impact did your grandpa have in your life after you lost your dad?
Well, the impact he had on my life, well, he was the one always, you know, make sure we were on the right path. He would try his hardest, you know. He had his things to deal with, but he always made sure me and my brothers were straight. Like, we were fed, had a roof over our heads, going to school, you know, whatever money he had, we could make sure we had. So it was like, he took care of us as an aspect of the way my dad probably would have. So he was my father role growing up.
That's right. Like, we need our dad, and sometimes if we don't have our dad, we venture off into substitutions, which is gangs, drugs,
Yeah, you're looking for some type of
Yeah,
something to replace that in your life.
and not only that, but we just lose track. Like he said earlier, you just don't care no more, right? And I think the beauty of culinary and the kitchen and the blessing of having means to provide food, that is like the ultimate healing, in my opinion.
But I think more, George. I mean, most importantly, I think it's the journey. Okay, he lost his father at a young age. He was struggling there for a while. His grandpa showed him how to start getting in the kitchen. That inspired him, and now he's a chef. Where are you a chef at? Omar?
Yeah, let them know.
Chef Omar at Warner Bros. Right here in Burbank.
Warner Brothers. Warner Bros. Studios.
Warner Bros. Studios, yes, sir.
That's amazing.
And I just asked him earlier.
Amazing story.
I asked him earlier, and get this one right. I asked him earlier because he used to work man the Latino corner at Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah.
And I asked him today. I was like, "So what? You still manning the Latino corner?" And he said, "Nah." What kind of food you been cooking lately?
African and Nigerian. Been hooking them up for Black History Month, you know, hooking them up.
And that, bro, like a young Latino from Almani, it's unheard of that he's cooking Nigerian and African food, for the actors and for the staff at Warner Brothers.
That's amazing, though.
And I applaud you, bro, because I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
It's textbook. It's textbook to lose it all and just become a statistic, right? Whether it's you lost it all, you gave up, and you killed yourself, and you just chalked it up as a that's it, or you turn that into drive to not only better yourself, but the people around you.
Positive.
And I applaud that,
Absolutely.
and I can't just it means so much for me to have you on this show, because it's almost like having your dad next to me again, and that's like a surreal feeling, like I said earlier, and I love you, and I want nothing but the best for you, and we're here to support anything you need. If you need any pointers on the job pointers, my man right here is an executive stage 4.
No,
Let's not
well,
forget
honestly, I think after today, I think I'm gonna be taking notes from Omar.
I definitely took some notes.
But one thing, Omar, I mean, you again. I keep going back, but your story is amazing. You lost your father at a young age. Your grandpa and grandma took care of you growing up. You were not doing the best that you wanted to growing up, but you got away from that, and now again you're a chef at Warner Brothers Studios, which is amazing. What could you tell anybody that's out there watching that maybe lost their father or is going through a tough time right now in the streets, to let them know that there is another way? And look, I was on the streets, I was going through some bad times, and now I'm a chef at Warner Brothers Studios.
That's right.
What could you give and advise somebody, a kid out there looking, that is maybe a little bit lost right now?
One thing that I've always looked at is someone always told me someone wants to be in your position right now. There's always someone who wants to be in your position. So to me, it's like, oh, you might be going through the toughest times, but look at everything that you got. Look at the bright side of things. Like just keep pushing forward. Don't stop. Don't give up. Like, you might be wishing you're over there, but somebody behind you is wishing they're in your position. Or you might be going through something and feel like, oh, it's the end. But somebody might be going through something worse than you, and you don't even realize it because you're too focused on the negative. Don't focus on the negative. Focus on the positive. Once you focus on the positive, everything becomes positive. If you stay negative, everything stays negative. The world will be negative to you, So that's just my thing. Just keep pushing forward, stay positive.
That's great.
And stop looking at the negative stuff. Look at the bright side, Like just that's about it.
That's right, Omar. You know what? That you're definitely right. I'm a big believer that you pave the path to your day, right? So, like you said, you wake up negative, you're gonna get paid back negatively, and I think that's a beautiful way to put it, and I think that's very important for the viewers to see and to hear, because a lot of people need proof, right? And a lot of people need proof to execute. So this is living proof. This is living proof. This is living proof. And this is living proof, right? And you know what? Again, thank you so much, Omar, for coming on the show.
You guys for having me.
I appreciate you. I appreciate your presence.
Yeah, you have an
And
amazing story.
last but not least, I appreciate the touch that you put on this table. It was amazing. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Chef
Thank you,
Jay-Z,
Chef,
again, for helping us get through this. And
My pleasure to be here.
for everybody out there, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us here today with Breaking Bread, the podcast, episode 3. We have much more to come, and I look forward to sharing more stories with you guys. Have a good day. Thank you, mijo. Hell yeah. Appreciate you. That's right, carnal.